last Thursday, so had it for me. Anybody? Past employees, got any concerns, anything new come up, don't say anything, have that. Ladies first.
Well, I know I'm not the only one, and I know there were supposed to be a couple other people here, so. But, honestly, I worked through COVID. I worked side by side with the people that you already paid. And I know there were a lot of people that did. Some have worked for the county for a longer time than I have. But I don't see why, if this is money to address people that worked during COVID, why past employees weren't included. It's not a loyalty check. As much as I'd like to say that, it's not.
It's not what?
It's not a loyalty check. It's for people that worked during COVID.
Well, I'm sorry, just for the record, what's your name? So we get
Johanna Palmer Carden.
just so we get it on record on the
Oh,
report.
sure. I don't know how else to address it. I don't know how else to address it.
Oh, I mean,
You pretty well summed up the way I feel about it.
yeah, you made a good point.
I brought it up. On this, the ARP money itself was for, and there's different ways of looking at ARP money, but at base rate and what they put out, as far as premium pay goes, it was for the help assist for a premium level of pay for the people that work during COVID.
And like I said, I know there's at least one other person that was gonna come tonight, and she was there actually longer than I was. And I mean, I was there for a good duration of COVID, the time frame that you're talking about, and I was there after the time frame that you're talking about. So and honestly, I love Polk County, I would love that state, but truthfully, I had to make a decision, and it's based on my personal circumstances. It has nothing to do with the fact that make it sound like I'm not loyal to the county. I am. I still volunteer with the fire department. I still do a lot of different things in the county whenever I can. But I'm kind of being punished because I had to make a decision. And again, this was after the time frame that you're talking about, to take another position. And I know there's a couple people that feel the same way.
Well, I think we're basically pretty much on that agreement. A lot of us anyway. I mean, I'm not even on the ARP committee. But the only issue that we're having, big issue, that we definitely have to finalize it, that it can be done, correct, Greg and John, is through CTAS and trying to figure out exactly what they've said. And so we're not liable.
Because they do not recommend it.
They're saying.
And when that happens, when they don't recommend it, it's going to throw red flags. And when it starts coming back and we have to be audited, and if they find anything, we have to pay it all back. That means that all of these people that are actually still working that has got it is to be ripped from them. Because we'll have to pay it back out of our general fund.
But it says it's not recommended, but it doesn't say you can't do it, correct?
Well, we're gonna get out.
Now, Heather said she just didn't recommend it personally, but she didn't say, she would put CTAS's name next to it.
But when it's not recommended and someone doesn't feel comfortable that's at a higher level than we are, I don't feel comfortable doing it. Because when it starts messing with all these other people and our taxpayers, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, well, when it was first talked about, I know they had said, they set the time frame, date certain, begin date, end date. If that's the case, I mean, you're looking at people that work past the end date. And there were actually a few people that I know of that within the last couple weeks before anything was decided at last Thursday's meeting had said, we're no longer employed. If that's the case, I mean, kind of saying, okay, well, you made it till, as you would put it, the day of the meeting, and for whatever reason, you were no longer employed by the county, therefore you don't qualify. Even if you worked the entire time up to the day of the meeting, you were basically asked
You
out of that
chose
money.
to go somewhere else, not stay with
Yeah,
us.
this is
So
an
this
loyalty
is
thing,
them.
this has nothing to do with it.
But they are still on our payroll, they're still going through their retirement and everything else that they are fixing to have to pay for. So you have bettered yourself to go forward. These people are still here, they are getting their check from where they worked.
So you're telling me that if you were on the payroll the day that this was voted on last week? Because that's not what was said at the Tuesday committee meeting prior to that.
Well, what I got received asked was, it's okay to do it, but it's gonna be an accounting nightmare.
An accounting nightmare for who?
The budget director and the committee. It's gonna have to look like we rehired all 51 people for one day.
Now, what she told me, I believe, was that we'd have to be a W-2 for 2022. Or a contract, I forgot how she put it, W-2 or anyway, we'd have to put it on this year's W-2 to those employees. It may be a 10,
Yeah, I was gonna say, can
1099
they do it
for
with
this
a
year.
1099?
Because the money would come to them this year, even though the work was done last year. That's what I understood in the last conversation.
She said we could do it, basically it's just gonna be a huge, huge deal to do it.
And it's gonna.
I mean, how many employees are you talking about?
Here's
And what about some of the people that had no choice to leave? I mean, my husband died, so I wasn't there. I was there until December the 31st.
Okay.
14 years loyal to the county. If that's how you're doing it, as a loyal premium pay, which it shouldn't be. It should have been who worked through that time. The whole 2 years I took and worked and could have took it home to him. So what's the difference? And the people that has died during this time, you're going back and paying them.
It's actually, we really can't go on through what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's not legal.
That is definitely probably
Because they
not gonna
can't pay
happen.
taxes on that.
Because even though that's kinda unfair too,
Right, I understand that.
that their wife or their husband or whatever wasn't the one necessarily that was day to day against COVID.
Right,
And that's how they look at that,
right.
which that is understandable, that part.
Is anybody informed to Teresa that? Because, that formulation.
No, you're saying they can't get it because they can't pay taxes on it?
Well, here again, the way I understood that, I guess we need to
That
have
doesn't
a
make
meeting.
any sense.
But the way I understood it, we can, but we
It
shouldn't
goes,
have.
has to be
But we
reflected to
can't, that's
the
just what I
state.
think. We need to get a
Yeah.
meeting.
As they
She wasn't able
as they
to.
state last year, they still pay taxes.
Here's the problem I see. COVID money extends all the way through 2024, December 31st. It was given to people who worked under exposure to COVID. We still have it. In fact, it's at a higher rate now than it's ever been. We want to give it to past employees who had a lower rate than the people that are doing it now. And we're not giving any new hires anything.
I left my job because of it. Didn't have a choice.
I mean,
If we're going to give it to past, we need to give it to present.
And you are.
We put it to an end on October 31st, but theoretically, the government says we've got all the way till December 31st, 2024 to spend it. And it could be pushed into the future. So you're going to say past employees can get it, but future, current ones can't.
actually, current ones did get it. Anybody
He's
that
talking about
worked at
people
least
started.
in October.
I'm talking about people that took people's places.
After October 31st.
And they're still being exposed today at a higher rate than they were last year.
Because we don't have lockdowns like we were.
Right now, the way we structured it, if you started in August of 21, you got 2 months pay. But if you started after October 31st, 21, you got nothing. So,
That's the way the.
yeah, we did pay new hires, it's not necessarily the whole 18 months, but based on how many months they worked prior to October 31st of 21, may have been 6 months, may have been 8 months. But he's, talking about the people that started November 1st up to now. You know, took their places.
Okay.
The only statement on that is there is no good way of digging this money. You're gonna have to set a time and do it, or wait to the very end and go back for the whole span, which, that's gonna be, that'd be unreal.
Well, if we look at past employees, it's not gonna be automatic 18 months for everybody. Like
No.
Jan have the whole 18 months. You're gonna have some may work in between 6 months. They may have came September of 20 and left in March of 21. You know, every employee is gonna have a different. I mean, obviously, some people's gonna have 18 months up Jan. There's gonna be people have anywhere from 1 month to 18 months. They're all gonna be different.
And that's why I asked, what was the number of employees we were talking about?
I believe it's 51, count sheriff's office, deputy side, corrections side, road department, courthouse.
And does that number get whittled down if there were people that didn't work over, what was it, like a half a month?
Then we gotta go back to, I don't know if we have to, but we have, like he said, since it's, y'all know what it says, since it's optional.
What?
On the schools. What we need, the school employees, the former employees,
And I have no idea on that. I've not even started. I would try to figure it out.
well, I mean, do we have to do it? I was told it was optional since us giving money was optional.
Everything's optional.
Yeah, I mean, it would be optional, yeah, but I'm not sure. I don't know if that's a question.
The next question is, what money do we have in our budget to do it?
Patrice ain't here tonight, I was trying to figure out how much we had left.
And that was, that was on me. I went in there today and I should have pushed on that a little more. The truth is, I don't think she's got a solid total numbers. Like I said, she's been working on this nonstop because all the variables, and I know at least 2 times last week, the car was still there well after 4:30.
5:30.
Yeah, well, probably 5:30 or maybe a little more.
I mean, it's been a nightmare on that end, but, you know, I mean, she'll get it figured out, she'll get it done, but it's, you know, it is a lot of figuring.
I know we got 4 former employees here tonight, at least. Would you be, all right, coming back to February meeting, let's get Heather from CTAS to come? Is that okay with y'all?
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks from now, and we'll give her plenty of notice, you know, to be here, and they'll let Patrice get this other out of the way, and we can get a final number too. If that's all right, y'all, 2.5 weeks from now. We'll put it on the agenda for regular meeting.
You don't want to put an ARP before the regular meeting?
Yeah, we'll have to do numbers, so.
Numbers?
We'll have a ARP committee meeting at 6, and the regular meeting at 7, it'll be on the agenda to be voted on.
What date is that? What date is that?
17.
17th?
Has anything changed for current employees? Anything changed there?
Which part?
About the amount, or when they're gonna get the check, or the amount, or anything?
Oh, the checks, that's sort of out our hands. I mean, I figured she might have to do on payroll this week, I don't know.
She was having an issue with that, you know, trying.
I think it
No,
was,
she'd been,
I think it was they have to do 2 separate,
okay.
they can't be done on the same thing. So she'll have to do cut a separate check.
Was she gonna try to do both at the same time?
I'm not sure.
Same payroll?
That didn't do it at the same time.
I know I just went in there one day and she was like, she said, they're killing me. She said, I don't know what to do. You know, she said, one outfit's telling me this way, the IRS is telling me this other way, see that, you know, I mean, I mean, she,
Yeah, she's trying.
yeah, it's not good. It's not good. She's getting ready to start pulling my hair out. But,
What?
well, we was talking about, Catrice had said that there was an issue with trying to figure out about the checks. She had talked to, you know, IRS and then CTAC, you know, this and that and this, but
That is one problem.
Jackie
with-
said that she thought that she,
They have to do it two separate ways, they can't do it on the same payroll check. as-
No, they're gonna have to,
Yeah.
last I was told, there's either ten ninety-nine will have to come out this year to go to the Department of Revenue, at least for the past workers. Now, they wasn't sure about was we talking about the past workers or the?
No, we're talking about the
what we're
present.
talking about, I think the rest.
Present, okay.
Yeah.
Present, yeah.
As far as the insurance.
Well, I'm leaning toward trying to give past employees something, but sort of like what he said about the current check, if you call 3 places, you get 3 different opinions. I mean, the comptroller tell you one thing, CTAS tell you one thing, just depending on who you talk to. So, if you can just bear with us for 2.5 weeks, till we.
Now that's my thing, I'm with it. We just gotta do it to where we ain't, no risk involved on us having to pay it back. Just some big dog give us the clearance. Finding that big dog, they just pass the buck around, you know.
They're afraid not to.
Yeah.
No, they should mute everybody.
Audit was at
And your
the
big
courthouse
dog ain't
today.
barking too loud right now because they don't have any guts. I mean, you know, I'm not talking about y'all.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, you know, the people in Tennessee, the federal government, they scared to death of it.
Yeah.
Department of Audit, or auditor, there's 3 auditors at the courtroom today, finalizing this year's audit. And I asked the main one in their belongs what their procedure was going to be on auditing this ARP money. And the answer was they had not laid out a formula and a track to do the audit on ARP. There would probably be what they call singular audit on that specific fund with criteria that you would need and then it reports back to the state. Now, he's not aware of the federal doing any kind of negotiations with local comptroller as to reporting back to the federal, which is where the mandate to refund the money to the original sources. So right now, they do not have a set plan at the comptroller's office on how they're gonna do the audit.
If it were me, I'd probably reach out to some of the other counties that's already done this. See how they handle it.
They're exactly.
Nobody,
They
that's
don't
just
have-
it, I wouldn't
the
say
state
that
does not.
because, no county has paid for their employees yet. They've all turned it down,
Call Bradley.
they didn't pay for their employees.
They looked at it, they did.
They didn't do it,
They
trust
opted
me.
not to.
I've got one I've been keeping in constant contact with, to see, I called them a whole lot, you know, trying to get everybody else's money, original money, to see what all they done, but for sure, they didn't pay for them employees. No county has yet, so,
But when did they pay them too? When did they pay them? Several months ago, right?
about
Yeah.
4 months ago.
I
or
mean, that
something.
would cover, I think, a lot of the past employees that we're talking about.
But they went to the same
Dates that we.
March 1st of 20,
Yeah.
and anybody that wasn't an employee, the day they voted on, they didn't pay.
Right.
Even if you left the day before they voted on it. and-
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, they voted on it obviously a lot sooner than we have, because we've discussed it a lot more. But that time frame from when, say, when they voted on it till now, that's several months, and that would actually solve a lot of the past employees.
A few.
Because a lot of the past employees that you're talking about didn't leave until the last few months.
Oh, I mean, like I said, everybody makes their case, I can agree with everybody that's making their case, and I can make arguments both ways. But like what you're talking about, if we say, okay, we'll go back 3 months prior to October 31st, the next day our phone's gonna be ringing, wants to go back 4 months. If we do 4 months, it's gonna be 5 months. I mean, there's gotta be, one of,
Well, that's why back then I was asking about a date certain. I mean, that was back in, what, October?
but yeah, but Bradley County, yeah, they, I think they done theirs around the end of October. That was, as soon as the period was up, March 1st, October 31st, 21, they voted on them immediately after. And if they weren't employed the night of the meeting, then they didn't get no premium pay. So, that, I mean, just talking about, gonna look at other counties, for sure, no other counties pay past employees. Yeah.
I helped them work through it. And keep them going to do it.
Anybody else got anything? We'll take 5-minute recess before the meeting starts.